Hey guys, welcome back to the HPR Chronicles with Shakur and Smith.
That's me.
It's Shakur, that's me, and that's Smith. It's August 28th. And before we get going, I want to say that we will be off entertainment. Everybody kind of takes off for the holidays, so I don't think anyone is coming out with their podcast on Labor Day week. Okay. So we'll also be off that Wednesday, September 4th, and I'll be in Spain, which I'll definitely have an episode about on the 11th, my adventures in Spain and stuff. I'll be in Barcelona. So, yeah, we're going to skip that week. I won't be here anyway, and then we'll see you guys back on the 11th, you know? So, yeah, just wanted to say that up front real quick so you wonder why we didn't put anything out on that Wednesday. So, yeah, it's a podcast about history, politics, and race from a cool perspective.
Cool.
You know what I'm saying?
Very cool. Yeah.
We try to break it down for you guys simple. I'm a filmmaker from Trinidad and Tobago, so I've traveled a lot. Always had a love for history and politics. Chris is a veteran of the Army Reserve that works for the VA with a passion for history and politics. So we always say it's about truth. You know, it's not pro any race. It's just pro truth. And if the truth offends you, we're sorry, not sorry. That's our slogan we say every week. We are the #1 history podcast on the planet. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow us on social media. Thank you all of our listeners on all the platforms, from iTunes to Google to everywhere, Buzzsprout, Spotify, everything. Thank you guys for listening in. Keep listening. And today, you know, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about, you know, why once you become a certain status of wealth or fame, why it's dangerous for you to hang out in those poor areas that you grew up in, because people just don't understand you. Yeah. You know, and then the week after that, we talked about black on black crime, which you gave some incredible statistics.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? And that was a good show. So this week, before Labor Day, we're going to talk about picnics, because a lot of you may be going on a picnic. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And, you know, one of the things that I like about this show is that we always speak truth. And even when the truth is against what we've learned or what we've been taught or what you've been taught, we always try to dispel the untruth as truth as well. Yeah. So this is going to be a show where this picnic thing is really popular, and we're going to dispel the untruth about it. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So it's said that this word picnic comes from, you know, pick a nig or pick a nigger. And when they lynched blacks, that's where this word came from and or derived from. That's what I was told coming up. That's what I've heard. You know what I mean? That's what people actually say, but it's actually not true.
Oh, okay.
You know
Because I was like,
saying?
picnic came from.
Oh yeah, if you look at people actually said that. I that's what I thought until I started studying for this podcast.
Okay. I mean,
you know what I'm saying? And the reason why I came up with this episode, just so you guys know, for those of you that don't know, I'm a film director. I'm in the entertainment industry, and I was hanging out with a girl that works for Oprah's company. She's in development over at O. We were hanging out here in Wine Country, me, her, and her husband, another guy I'm doing a TV show with, and you know, she's giving me the opportunity to, you know, to hand her stuff to read. Oh, nice. To send up the chain to Oprah and her right-hand person for projects we may have, TV and film and stuff like that. And I was talking to one of my partners about it, and he has this script that he wants me to help him write called Birthright that he thinks will be perfect for Oprah and her company. Okay. And when we were talking about that, he brought up this picnic thing. Oh, okay. And I said, I'm going to cover it on the show. Yeah. But I'm like, I don't know if this is true or not. And before he told me, I thought it was true. Then when I looked it up, I said, oh, this is one of the things that's actually not true that blacks have always been taught and thinking. But I'm going to come around and show you guys how it may have, you know, come out as if this is where the word came from, but it actually didn't. Go ahead.
Can I guess something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because it sort of reminds me of something I heard where with lynchings, people would come out and like watch it.
Yeah,
and
they would. Yeah,
and then have like gatherings and a picnic in front, which would
so that's one of the reasons why. Could be one of the reasons why people think that that's where the word came from, but it actually didn't.
Okay.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. So Dr. David Pilgrim, he's a curator at the Jim Crow Museum. And you guys may remember we covered Jim Crow.
Yeah.
You can go back and listen to that. But he's the one that wrote this article about the picnic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So is it true that the word picnic originally came from the word pick a nig or pick a nigger? Apparently, a black person was randomly picked and hanged for the entertainment of whites. The whites, including families, ate from box lunches while enjoying the barbaric act. If this is true, we should stop using the word picnic, replacing it with outing or gathering.
It's true.
And the answer is no. That's not where the word came from. You know what I mean? So your question has several components. You know, we will address each component. The etymology of the word picnic does not suggest racist or racial overtones. Picnic was originally a 17th century French word, pique-nique. And its meaning was similar to today's meaning, a social gathering where each attendee brings a share of the food. The French piquoise, that's what that says, Sione would know, may have referred to a leisure style of eating, pick at your food, or it may simply have meant pick, P-I-C-K. The nique was probably a silly rhyming compound, as English words like howdy, touty, but may have referred to an obsolete word meaning a trifle. Is that trifle or trifle? Yeah, because one F for, yeah.
Trifle.
Yeah, trifle? Trifle. It'll be triple if it was two Fs.
Yeah.
Right, okay, yeah. So the literal meaning of picnic, which became our picnic, is each pick a bit. A 1692 edition of Origines de la Lacroix Francois de Menage mentions picnic. This suggests that the word had been used for some time in France. The term picnic does not appear in the English language until around 1800. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So as I continue here, it was interesting because again, this is something that I didn't know, and like I said, I love this show because you get to learn all of this stuff. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so it is clear that picnic was not derived from pick a nigger or pick a nig or similar racist phrases. However, some of the almost 4,000 blacks were lynched between 1882 and 1962 were lynched in settings that are appropriately described as picnic-like. Philip Dre, a historian, stated, lynching was an undeniable part of daily life, as distinctly American as baseball games and church suppers. Wow. Men brought their wives and children to the events, posed for commemorative photographs, and purchased souvenirs of the occasion as if they had been at a company picnic. Wow. Bray did not exaggerate. At the end of the 19th century, Henry Smith, a mentally challenged 17-year-old black male, was accused of killing a white girl. Before a cheering crowd of hundreds, Smith was made to sit on a parade float drawn by 4 white horses. The float circled numerous times before the excited crowd tortured, then burned Smith alive. After the lynching, the crowd celebrated and collected body parts as souvenirs.
Wow.
Often the lynch mob acted with haste, but on other occasions, the lynching was a long, drawn-out affair with speeches, food eating, and unfortunately, ritualistic and sadistic torture. Victims were dragged behind cars, pierced with knives, burned with hot irons or blowtorches, had their fingers and toes cut off and their eyes cut out, and were castrated, all before being hanged or burned to death. One Mississippi newspaper referred to these gruesome acts as Negro barbecues. Wow. In many cases, arguably in most cases, lynch mobs had a particular target and confined their heinous aggression to a specific person. Blacks were lynched for a variety of accusations, ranging from murder and raped, often not true, to trying to vote and arguing with a white man. In 1938, a white man in Oxford, Mississippi, declared that it was about time to have another lynching. When the niggers get so they are not afraid of being lynched, it is time to put the fear in them, which is interesting because when you do that, that lasts for generations, which we talked about what that science is called, when that's in your DNA, that fear. There were many blacks lynched randomly to send a message of white supremacy to black communities. As noted by Dominic J Sapele, a historian, when it came to lynching, one black man served as well as another. So he didn't even have to commit a so-called crime, which was usually a lie anyway. There was no crime even being committed. We often think of a mob as an insane, bloodthirsty collection of adult male ruffians. However, respectable community leaders, including police, often lynched blacks, which they still do today in a modern fashion. Yeah. Although women and children were not typically the active aggressors, they were often in the audience, and they too celebrated. They were secret lynches, but there were many done publicly and planned. Of course, news of an impending lynching traveled fast. Lynching was a brutal attempt to reinforce white supremacy, but it was also entertainment, and food was present, according to Dre. While attendees at lynchings did not take away a plate of food, the experience of having witnessed the event was thought incomplete if one did not go home with some piece of cooked human being. And there is much anecdotal evidence of lynch crowds either consuming food and drink while taking part in the execution, or retiring en masse immediately afterward for a meal, or in the case of a notorious immolation in Pennsylvania in 1911, ice cream sundaes. That's what they had after the lynching.
So they cared so less about people that, eating, or, the burned flesh, the smell, and all this stuff you would think would be like.
They would take stuff home as souvenirs. Yeah. In 1903, a man was lynched in Greenville, Mississippi. A white writer said, everything was very orderly. There was not a shot, but much laughing and hilarious excitement. It was quite a gala occasion. And as soon as the corpse was cut down, all of the crowd betook themselves to the park to see a game of baseball.
Okay, hold up. Now, some time ago, the president has, makes statements that a lot of people feel are racist. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting to think, because this stuff that's happened, it's years ago, but it's still at a time that, like you mentioned, you had, in a different way. But like you mentioned, obviously the men were there, but they brought their wives and kids. And that stuff just within themselves too definitely think that blacks are lower and aren't worth anything. Mm-hmm. So it's not to give someone the benefit or the that's how they were raised, but it's just interesting to think that the people in power, white men, are not, who claim to not be racist, and you're like, you're really displaying stuff, or you're saying stuff that makes sense, but it's like, obvious makes sense where it come from, because it was just so, prevalent.
And this is how they kept blacks in line after slavery, because they were in fear that in retaliation of slavery, we would retaliate against them.
Yeah.
So they kept perpetuating the system of fear. So how do you do that? You do stuff like this.
But then
to
also
instill fear in a race of people. Like, if you do something, this is going to happen.
Yeah. And another thing that obviously down the line that happened or that comes about, and this is totally different or not as in line with that, is you also erect monuments or statues that of a group that did not want to give you rights. So, I am talking about Confederate statues where, that's again having black people see, the statue of this person who was attempting to, not give you rights and keep you in slavery. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. No, interject. Yeah, that's what we're here to talk about, man. You can interject as much as you want. Yeah, I mean, this stuff was sad, So the claim that the word picnic derived from lynching parties has existed in black communities for many years. Like I said, I thought that before I did this study. Okay. Although many contemporary etymologists smugly dismissed this claim, it should be noted that there is a kernel of truth in this month's question. The word picnic did not begin with the lynching of black Americans. However, the lynching of blacks often occurred in picnic-like settings. Yeah. So what I want to say was that's probably, how the rumor started and how we began to think that that's what the word means. Because,
like a lot of, just like you said,
a lot of them took place in picnic-like settings.
Yeah, and the one guy made the comment, like, it seems like they're starting to get not scared. So it doesn't matter which one. So randomly, so like you just said, pick one. Yeah. So again, all this, that's why when you say it, like, I'm like, yeah, that's what makes, because I do remember hearing something about that, but I don't remember where I heard it, Right. But it's anyway. It's just
it's funny because I actually get why people thought that and how it came around to us thinking that. Yeah. But it's just not true. I mean, and I could see how you can make it true for yourself if you want. Yep. But the word came from France. Yeah. And it's a word that the French created called pique-nique, and it was a gathering of people with food and stuff like that. Again, it didn't even start here till the 1800s, way after slavery. Slavery had been started already, way before that. You know what I mean? And then So, it, again, a word doesn't mean that, even though they were in like a food-like setting when they did some of these lynchings, but one has nothing to do with the other. Yeah,
they had
so the word
when the lynching was going on, but
doesn't mean pick a nigger or pick a nig and all that kind of stuff. Even though they had picnics,
and they sometimes would just pick a nigger,
right? And sometimes, that's not where it came from. For everybody who thought that. To really get the true scope of it, you have to go back to France. You know what I mean? So, that's my episode. I knew it would be a short one. Like I said, sometimes I don't mind if it's a short episode.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You had anything else you want to add before I go to the history today in history?
No, I mean it's just really
it's
messed
just a quick
up.
lesson about that word. It's just a quick lesson. Yeah.
We haven't done one on nursery rhymes, have we?
No.
Okay.
Not yet. I know we had mentioned at that time when you did that one episode.
When we talked about the N-word.
Yeah. No, but another time too. You would. Was it Jim Crow? Oh, I forget. But it was one of those episodes where you had talked about it. Yeah. About doing it. Yeah. So. Anyway. Yeah. Just a quick lesson for you guys, man. Before Labor Day. I know you guys would be going on some picnics and barbecues and stuff like that.
Please no lynchings.
You know what I mean? Exactly. So, it was a timely topic, and definitely enjoy your Labor Day week. And we'll see you guys on the 11th.
Try to still eat healthy.
September 11th. Yeah, definitely try to still eat healthy. And let's segue into today in history, August 28th, man. So. In 1833, slavery was banned by the British Parliament throughout the British Empire on August 28th. Yep, in 1833. Then in 1907, August 28th, American Messenger Company was started by two teenagers, Jim Casey and Claude Ryan. The company's name was later changed to the United Parcel Service. Wow. UPS. Some teenagers started that.
Wow.
Wow. It was called the American Messenger Company, 1907. In 1916, August 28th, Italy's declaration of war against Germany took effect during World War I. And then in 1922, this has something to do with my industry because I'm in entertainment. I like some of these facts. In 1922, August 28th, the first radio commercial aired on WEAF in New York City. The Queensboro Reality Company bought 10 minutes of airtime for $100.
Wow.
That was the first radio commercial back in 1922.
That's a lot of money. Back
so, yeah, hundreds of bucks for a commercial.
Wow.
That was a lot back then. Yeah, man. Anyway.
Wait, what was the first one with the...
the first one was...
It was
slavery was banned throughout the British Parliament, throughout the British Empire in 1833.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it was banned in
32
in
years
Britain.
Before it happened in America.
Because here it ended in 1860 something. Yeah, 33. Yep, I was thinking about that. Yep. So, yeah. So like I said, guys, it was just a quick lesson today. You know, before Labor Day. Again, enjoy your Labor Day. We'll see you guys when I'm back, and we're gonna take that week off. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Director Imani Shakur at what's yours again? It's in the screen.
It's Tech One CS.
Yeah, Tech One CS. And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and on all the podcast platforms, on your cell phone, everything, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Buzzsprout, Stitcher. We're not on iHeart yet with this one, but I'm going to be working on that soon.
One day.
Yeah. And yeah, it's the HPR Chronicles with Shakur and Smith. Enjoy your picnics this Labor Day weekend. That's not where the word
Happy
came
holidays.
from. Happy holidays. We'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. Peace.
Peace.